This video is explaining how to multiply and divide mixed numbers. We'll start off with multiplying mixed numbers. First we need to convert mixed numbers to improper fractions, and then we can multiply the improper fractions like we would normal fractions. So to start off, let's convert 2.5 into an improper fraction. Remember, if we follow the wheel, we multiply by the denominator and we add the numerator. So on the top we have 2 times 2 plus 1, and the denominator stays the same, so we'll still have 2 or halves. So we've got 2 times 2 is 4, plus the 1 is 5 over 2. So 2.5 is equal to 5 over 2, or 5 halves. If we do the same for 1 and a third, we multiply by the denominator, we add the numerator. 1 times 3, add 1, and again the denominator would stay the same as in the question, so we still have thirds. 1 times 3 is 3, plus the 1 is 4, so we end up with 4 thirds. We now multiply the improper fractions together just like normal fractions. 5 over 2, or 5 halves, multiplied by 4 thirds. On the top we have 5 times 4, which is 20, and on the bottom we have 2 times 3, which is 6. 2 is a common factor of 20 and 6, so if we divide the top and the bottom by 2, we get 10 over 3. 10 over 3 is an improper fraction. I can therefore convert it into a mixed number. If we remember, 10 divided by 3 equals 3, remainder 1. 3 goes into 9 3 times, and then we've got the 1 left over. So we have 3 and 1/3. Just as the previous question, we need to convert these mixed numbers into improper fractions so that we can multiply them. So let's start off by converting 3 1/4 into an improper fraction. So if we follow our wheel, times and add. 3 times 4 plus 1, and the denominator will stay as 4. 3 times 4 is 12, add on the 1 is 13 over 4. If we look at the second fraction, 2 3/5, we want it as an improper fraction. So multiply by the denominator, add the numerator. So we get 2 times 5, add on the 3, over 5 this time, as the denominator was 5. So 2 times 5 is 10, add on the 3 is 13 over 5. So now I'm just going to multiply these two improper fractions together. 13 over 4 multiplied by 13 over 5. So 13 times 13 on the top, which is 169, and 4 times 5 on the bottom, which is 20. Again, our answer is an improper fraction, so we can turn this into a mixed number. So 169 divided by 20. I know that 20 times 8 is 160, so it goes in 8 times, remainder 9. So I can write 169 over 20 as 8 whole, 9 over 20, so 8 9/20. Division is very similar to multiplication. We need to convert the mixed numbers into improper fractions and then divide them as we would normal fractions. So let's convert 4 1/4 into an improper fraction. So we get 4 times 4, add 1 as the numerator, and 4 is still our denominator. So 4 times 4 is 16, add the 1 is 17 over 4. And we want to divide that by 2/3. So let's turn the 2/3 into an improper fraction. So The numerator is 2 times 3, add 1. The denominator is still 3. 2 times 3 is 6, add the 1 is 7. And the denominator is 3, so 7/3. So hopefully you remember the rules with dividing fractions. We keep the first fraction the same. We change it to a multiply. And we flip the second fraction upside down. Keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep 17/4 divided by 7/3. So I'm going to keep the first fraction the same. I'm going to change the divide to a multiply, and I'm going to flip the second fraction upside down. So then that becomes 17/4 multiplied by 3/7. So I've changed the division to a multiplication, and that second fraction is flipped upside down. So on the top we have 17 times 3, which is 51. And on the bottom we have 4 times 7, which is 28. So 51/28, that's an improper fraction, so we can write it as a mixed number. So if we do a little division to help us, 51 divided by 28. 28 only fits into 51 once, and we've got a remainder of 23. So 51/28 can be written as 1 and 23/28. This question is very similar to the previous. We need to convert the mixed numbers into improper fractions and then divide those as we would with normal fractions. So let's start off by converting 3 1/3 into an improper fraction. We multiply and then add. So we get 3 times 3, add 1 as the numerator, and then 3 as the denominator because it stays the same. 3 times 3 is 9, and the 1 is 10, still over 3. And if we convert the 1/6, 1 and 1/6 into an improper fraction, we get 1 times 6 plus 1 as the numerator, and 6 as the denominator. So 1 times 6 is 6, add on the 1 is 7, and the denominator remains as 6. So we now have 10/3 divided by 7/6. If we think back to the last one, we keep the first fraction the same, we change the sign to a multiply, and we flip the second fraction. So it becomes 10/3 or 10/3, we keep that the same. We change the sign to multiply, and we flip the second fraction upside down, so it becomes 6/7. Then on the top, we have 10 times 6 is 60, and on the bottom, 3 times 7, which is 21. Now we can simplify this down because 3 is a common factor of 60 and 21. So if I divide the top and bottom both by 3, 3 goes into 60 20 times, and 3 goes into 21 7 times. This is an improper fraction, so I can turn 20/7 into a mixed number. So 20 divided by 7. 7 goes into 20 twice, which is 14, with a remainder of 6. So I can write 20/7 as 2 and 6/7.